All You Need to Know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business.
Good morning, and thanks so much for listening in. This is the All You Need to Know podcast on Bloomberg Quint, and I'm Alex Matthew. Today is the 20th of October. First up, you might want to check the latest COVID-19 data. Yesterday's number has also come in below 60,000, and that slower pace of addition and the improved recovery rate means that the total number of active cases in India has stayed below 8 lakh for 3 consecutive days. This is great news, but caution must continue to prevail. Across the globe, countries are grappling with a second wave of the virus. Millions of Europeans are facing tighter restrictions on movement, with London, Paris and Vienna enforcing stricter curbs and Ireland preparing some of the region's toughest measures. Iran again reported a record number of daily deaths linked to the virus, while Wales announced a 2-week lockdown. In the top news back home, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has said that the government began an exercise at the start of October to assess the impact of the pandemic on the economy and the likely contraction in GDP. More importantly, and what markets will be optimistic about, is that she did not rule out the possibility of additional stimulus measures to boost growth. She was speaking at the launch event of a book by the 15th Finance Commission Chairman N.K. Singh. Now, one of the avenues that the government will look at to shore up revenue this year is going to be disinvestment. And it turns out that the government is ready to sweeten the deal for the sale of Air India. That's according to a Bloomberg report that quoted Disinvestment Secretary Tuhin Kanta Pandey. He said that the government is considering allowing potential suitors for Air India to decide how much of the carrier's debt they are willing to take as part of the deal. Current rules require bidders to take over the airline's $3.3 billion of aircraft debt, which has been a deterrent so far. In corporate news, Bengaluru-based developer RMZ Corp has announced the sale of a portion of its real estate assets to Brookfield Asset Management for $2 billion as it seeks to reduce debt. The company plans to sell as much as 12.5 million square feet out of its total portfolio of 67 million square feet. The deal includes assets in Bengaluru and Chennai and the disinvestment of the group's co-working business. In other news, Larsen & Toubro has emerged as the lowest bidder for the design and construction of the 237-kilometer length of a viaduct for the 508-kilometer Mumbai-Ahmedabad high-speed rail corridor. That's according to a notification from the National High-Speed Rail Corporation. In international markets, US stocks fell to the lowest in almost 2 weeks as a deal on further stimulus measures remains elusive. The Dow fell 1.4%, while the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq declined by over 1.6% each. Indices futures, though, are higher at this point after a spokesperson for House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said the differences were narrowing in talks. The early risers in the Asia-Pacific region have started with cuts, but not as deep as the ones that were seen in the US. I'm joined by Hormuz Fatakia now. Good morning, Hormuz, and here's wishing you a very happy birthday. Let's hope you have a great year, but more importantly, hope today is going to be fantastic for everyone listening in. How's it looking for the Indian markets?
Good morning to you, Alex, and thank you for the birthday wishes. And good morning to our listeners as well. And I can't really predict the year, but the markets are certainly back to winning ways, and it was both private and PSU banks that contributed to the second straight day of gains for the Sensex and the Nifty. Now on to stocks that will react to earnings that came post-market closing on Monday. HDFC Life has expressed confidence that it will continue to beat industry performance and gain market share going forward. In its post-earnings conference call, the management said that it has received over 400 COVID-19 claims and a sum of 22 crore rupees is at risk. The gross premiums for the company were up 35% this quarter. The management will be joining us at 9:45 a.m. today, so do log in to Bloomberg Quint Live. Britannia now, and it expects input prices to remain stable going forward despite a 16% rise in raw material costs this quarter. Now, despite the higher input costs, the company's margins stood at nearly 20% as compared to 16% during the same period last year. The company said that it has sustained a large part of its efficiency gains that it made during the previous quarter. Bullish commentary also coming in from the management of L&T Technology Services. The company has won 8 multi-million-dollar deals during the July to September period, which included 3 deals of over $15 million and 3 worth over $10 million. Digital business contributed almost half of the overall revenue, and the management expects the growth momentum to continue, citing steady order bookings and a healthy product pipeline. The company has also declared a dividend of 7.5 rupees a share. ACC believes that further demand is likely to be driven by affordable and rural housing projects along with a revival in construction activity. The company's cement sales volume growth for the quarter stood at 1%, while the RMX sales were down over 40%. The company said that the urban demand is yet to recover due to continuous lockdowns due to COVID-19. Also reacting to earnings today will be Tata Metaliks, where the 3.5 times surge in net profit was aided by a deferred tax reversal, while margins expanded due to lower costs. On to earnings today, Hindustan Unilever will be reporting their results towards the close of trade. And amongst non-index names, companies like L&T Infotech, Granules India, Hindustan Zinc, Kajaria Ceramics, CCL Products and Oriental Aromatics will be reporting numbers. Remember that Hindustan Zinc will also be considering a proposal for an interim dividend at its board meeting today. Aside of earnings, KIOCL has announced a share buyback worth 155 crore rupees, where it intends to buy back over 1.4 crore shares. The buyback price of 110 rupees a share is a 19.3% discount to Monday's closing price. The record date for the buyback has been set at October 30th, and the government holds 99% stake in this company. Zensar Technologies has approved the divestment of a 100% stake in its non-core business PSI Holding Group to Service Express. The transaction is estimated at $10 million with an additional deferred amount of $5 million based on performance. The company has estimated a loss of $11 to $13 million based on such a disposal. MRPL has approved the acquisition of 125 crore shares of ONGC Mangalore Petrochemicals from ONGC for a total consideration of over 1200 crore rupees. With this, MRPL's stake in its subsidiary will rise to 100% from the earlier 51%. Some buzzing stocks that I would want to highlight from Monday's session. Mphasis has been on a losing spree ever since it hit a record high on Wednesday last week. The stock ended lower for the third straight day on Monday and has declined 9% during the period. Amber Enterprises has been on a roll over the last week. The stock has ended with gains of nearly 13% on Monday and was the top gainer on the Nifty Small Cap Index. The stock has gained over 30% in the last 6 trading sessions. And lastly, watch for Adani Transmission, which reported that the losses for Adani Electricity Mumbai narrowed to 2.9% from 8.2%. So watch out for the reaction in this stock. Early ticks on the SGX Nifty indicated that the index is trading 60 points lower but is recovering from the opening lows, and it is around the mark of 11,850. Details on all of these stocks and more are available in our All You Need to Know copy, which you can read on BloombergQuint.com. And with that, I wish you a safe day ahead, and it's back to you, Alex.
Thanks, Hormus. And as always, thank you all for listening in. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great day.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you can listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma. Or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.